All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Rich Walsh here along with Chris Mueller. We're talking about the Penguins, and now we go to our number one Cochrane call of the night. It's Anthony in the Hill District. How you doing, Anthony?
Hey, this is Anthony. I would just like to say that the main goal is the morale of the team. They look pretty positive, but I'm going to contribute as well. I'm going to distribute a white paper tomorrow to keep the morale going. So what do you think about that? Just let me know. Thank you.
All right, so Chris, he made a good point at the beginning there when he said that that's the morale of the team, Domingue. Do you think that they're riding him right now, essentially?
I think that one of the things you can draw as a reasonable conclusion here, well, there's two of them. One is that, and Jeff Hathorn made this on the show with us today, that the Penguins players in that room respected Tristan Jarry and still do respect him for how he bounced back from his playoff meltdown last year to have largely a very good season, right?
Yeah.
So I think they believed in him heading towards the playoffs. He gets hurt. I think they believe in DeSmith in the sense that he's a professional backup. He gets hurt. Now I think there is, and they wouldn't say this to Domingue or express this to him, but I think there's this underlying sense. They get that it's a third-string guy who was a minor league goalie in there. They get that he is probably, if he sees a ton of pucks, going to be in real big trouble, that teams are going to find weaknesses and start to exploit them. And I think this game was the one where they showed that they are still very much capable of playing with young legs, insulating their goalie, and just absolutely burying the other team. I just thought it was a textbook Sullivan game, especially from the second period on. They just put the clamps down. They finished when they had chances, which is why they're the Penguins and other teams can't do it the way they can. But they just absolutely put the Rangers in a bottle for the rest of the game. Here's the other thing really quick. The Rangers showed absolutely no heart, no fight. I mean, I think it's garage league stuff sometimes when a team in a series will start doing the gong show business and picking fights. They didn't even do that. There were no scrums. There's no excess physicality. It seems like they took the Rangers' souls in this series.
Yeah, it's unbelievable the way this series turned. That overtime winner maybe was a backbreaker, but they came back out and beat the Penguins 5-2 in the next game, and then the Penguins just basically have owned this team the next two games outside of that second period on Saturday. All right, let's go out to Louis in Turtle Creek. Is this Louis Domingue calling in?
Yeah, it is.
For PPG?
Yeah, after Jory's performance last year, I don't know. I think I trust Louis Domingue as long as the Penguins could insulate him. And would you want to get Fleury back? 'Cause his contract's up.
No, I don't want Fleury back. I like Fleury, but I think his time is over here in Pittsburgh. I think we have to move on past Fleury. I wanted them to keep Fleury over Murray. I was a Fleury guy over Murray, but I think his time is up here in Pittsburgh. But look, let's not go overboard here, right, Chris? People are going nuts saying Domingue's the greatest goalie in the world. He has a couple good games, a couple good periods. He needs to win one more, and then we can reevaluate the situation. At least you know you have a competent backup when Jory does return if the Penguins somehow win one of the next three games.
I think that it's telling that Louis Domingue's the best he's looked, aesthetically and everything else in this series, was when he came in with the belly full of pork and broccoli, spicy pork and broccoli, and saved all 17 shots that he saw in game one. He looked quiet in his net. He just kind of looked calm. I didn't really sense that he was flustered by the moment. I do think it's sort of instructive that since then, Richie, he's had to settle in as, hey, he's the man. They're not going to Diorio, right?
No.
So he's the man. I think that right. I think it comes with a different kind of pressure when you know you're the only guy and you're not just playing in relief. And so I do think you've seen a few more warts. It's an unbelievable story. Everybody loves it. He seems like a guy that when you hear him talk about it, you can't help but enjoy and embrace the whole thing. But I do think the longer he's in, like any guy, the more it'll end up showing why he was a third stringer in this situation.
He's given up 11 goals in 3 games, right? It's not like he's completely shut down the Rangers like Matt Murray did when he came in back in, what was that, 2016?
He made some huge saves in the third period. He made some desperation huge saves. That left shoulder save in Game 3 was unbelievable, but you can also look at that as partly a byproduct of he can't locate the puck quick enough. That's just inarguable. He doesn't track the puck as well as a Tristan Jarry would, And so I think that's why Mike Sullivan, given like who the particulars are involved here, is probably going to make the switch back to Jari after this series, assuming the Penguins do get through it.
No question he will. I mean, you look at what he did. I was with the Penguins every single game in, 15, 16, and 17 when they were making their runs, 18, all those years, in 16 and 17. You know, he had no qualms going back to Matt Murray after Fleury had a pretty good game up in Ottawa. I mean, he went back to his goalie, and I think he's going to do the same thing
Murray had
here.
won him a cup, though. I mean, Murray had won him a cup by that point in 17. Murray was his guy in 16, and everybody knew it, and he got red hot in the playoffs. So it is a little different. Jari cost him a series. He didn't win him a Stanley Cup when they were playing last year. But I do think the gap is obvious enough between the two players that whenever Jari's ready to go, and I presume that'll be after this series ends, they're probably going to shift back to him. I also think it's easier to make that switch back in between series, Richie.
Let's go out to Fred in North Huntington. How you doing, Fred?
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, Chris hit the nail on the head there when he talked about the most impressive thing with tonight's game was that the Penguins, they just kept pouring it on. This game was so one-sided tonight. I think they could have scored 11 or 12 goals. They were that close to actually doing that. It was almost embarrassing. They're in the Rangers. That goalie for the Rangers right now, when you pull a guy one time, you're trying to, ignite your team. When you do it a second time, now you're demoralizing your goaltender. I think this series is over. And one more quick comment, Richie. I see the Pittsburgh Piper shirt on my man Chris Mueller got. I got to give him some love for that. He shows with Connie Hawkins there. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Fred. He made a good point there. I mean, you pull a goalie once. You try to give your team a spark. But now you pull this goalie again. Now you're letting doubt set in his mind and maybe the team's mind.
I mean, that's why Gallant already said that he's going to start in Game 5 and play and be the man. I think to reiterate that right off the bat so that his goalie knows that he's still got his back. But he's getting beat by tip plays. He was getting beat by plays that are impossible more or less to stop, just perfect passing plays. But that's what the Penguins do. You get beat enough like that, like, listen, at the start maybe you think, okay, it's not my fault, bad defense. Maybe you can tell yourself that. You keep getting beat, though. That many goals is that many goals, and it gets in anyone's head. I also agree with them that they could have scored double digits. I mean, some of their missed opportunities were prettier looking plays than goals that actually went in. It was a stunning effort from this team.
So at what point do they pull Igor? I know we're far away from this, but at what point, say the Penguins go up 3-0 in the first, do you pull them?
Gone. Goodbye. I would say if the
2-0?
Penguins go up 2-0, if it's 2-0 and it's quick enough, I would consider it. If I were the Rangers, if it's 2-0 and at least one of them is a really bad, leaky goal, like one of those bad Fleury specials from playoffs past, I would absolutely pull him because then you could reasonably infer that it has just completely gotten into his head.
Interesting. I'm going to talk more about this after the break. Phone lines are open, so give us a call. We have time for a couple more. 412-575-2600. Back in a couple minutes.